If Jesus did this, if God did that, then I will believe. You know, when you hear people say stuff like that, it could be one or two things. It could be either their heart is hardened and they really just want Jesus to do a magic trick, and they really are not seeking transformation to really need that signs and wonders to strengthen their faith or even produce any form of faith. They just want to be a Pharisee. They just want to be a Sadducee. They just want to see a magic trick like Herod did. Herod was excited to see Jesus because he thought Jesus was just some great musician. And then you also have the other half of people who truly struggle with unbelief, who just need that oomph to strengthen their faith. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who have not seen and still believe," but they are still blessed for people who see and believe. And so I'm going to be referencing to John 20, verses 24 to 29. This is Thomas. He's known as the twin. He's also known as the doubter. This is after Jesus was resurrected, and Jesus appeared to Mary first. And then Mary told them they didn't believe her. They thought she was crazy. And then Jesus appeared to disciples, but Thomas wasn't present. And they was telling Thomas, like, Jesus is back. And Thomas is like, nah, bro, nah. And so we see it says, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where his nails were and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." And then Jesus, being as kind as he is, it says in verse 27, "Put your finger here, see my hands, reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." So why did Jesus respond? One, because Jesus responded to someone who had a sincere heart and was actually seeking revelation, transformation. Thomas never rejected Jesus. He was just grieving. He was processing. He was trying to understand. He was trying to apply logic. He didn't, it was so much turmoil internalized. It was just honest confusion. Jesus met him exactly where he was at, not to do a performance, but to just reaffirm, like, hey, Thomas, like, here's your faith. Let me strengthen it for you. Jesus never shamed Thomas. He met Thomas where he was and specifically ministered to him in a unique way that gave him confirmation. And so then we get to the other half of it where people who just wants to see a magic trick, they're just testing the Lord, trying to prove a point, coming from a place of pride and arrogance. And we see this with the Pharisees, the Sadducees, right? And that's when Jesus will rebuke them and say only a faithless and perverse generation would seek a sign. When the Pharisees wanted to see a type of miracle, their hearts were hardened. They was just trying to trap Jesus. They were looking for ways to just crucify him. They dismissed Jesus and they just said things to try to set a trap and a snare. And again, the adulterous generation will ask for a sign. It says that in Matthew 16:4. So it's a difference between people who are trying to seek truth and people who are just popping their gums. Amen.